welcome back to our F1 2020 Ferrari Return to Glory career mode. Today we've got the Japanese Grand Prix, the fourth from last round of the season, but before that we've got this upgrade that we could potentially be getting on the car. It's a big error upgrade. It's time to see if we got it through or not. We'll advance time now then, and it did not go through. We took the risk, we rushed it through. There's a 45% chance of it failing, and that is indeed what happened then, so we're going to have to spend a bit more then, but we will at least have it on the car now then for the next race in Austin at least, so we'll have a big upgrade going to that one. But the big thing here is that it's official, we now have the worst engine in Formula 1. It's like real life. Ferrari have got the worst engine along with Haas and Alfa Romeo, as well, Renault and Honda seem to have finally brought some big upgrades there. With fourth fast overall then, Red Bull and Racing Point pulling away a little bit there in the development race. Now then, we've also got next season's regulations as well, and its durability and also the chassis. I mean, thankfully we haven't really done a lot of durability upgrades yet, but obviously we've done quite a bit on the chassis as well, so we're going to have to spend some resource points to save all that stuff then, which I will be doing then throughout the rest of the season to try and save all these parts then for next season. On to the race weekend now then, and as you can see, race day is looking like it's going to be a very wet one, as is often the case really in Japan. You often see rain affecting some part of the weekend, and it looks like Sunday is going to be an absolute washout then by the looks of things. So we've got the worst engine, but it may not make too much of a difference then if it's really wet here then, as we are going to try and earn a bit more resource points now then to make up for the fact that we've got to save some upgrades for next season as well. On to qualifying now then, where obviously things are looking nice and dry, but obviously it's tomorrow where it's going to be all changed in terms of the weather, so we'll have to just try and qualify as lightly feel as we can. Tyre wear isn't going to be as much of a concern here. This is a track that I do enjoy. It's probably my favourite on the calendar in fact to drive, so I was hoping to get a good result here then this weekend. As in Q1 then, here's our initial lap time then, we set a 26.4 there, and once again then I took a bit of a risk and didn't try and improve on that, and we were playing it quite risky again then. We were only 14th in that session, but still got through then at least. That's the best qualifying I've seen I think from George Russell there in 16th, so Williams then starting to improve, but I guess also Haas and Alfa Romeo now having that terrible engine is maybe helping out a bit as well. On to Q2 now then, where I decided to just completely disregard the medium tyres then. We're just going straight for it on the soft tyres this week to just try and set some good lap times then and make sure we get into the top 10, because we've had 3 Q2 exits in a row now. We crossed line then for a 25.9, which actually puts us fastest then, ahead of Ricciardo and Leclerc there, the two Mercedes out on the medium tyres. I was 5th at the end of that initial run then, but I figured I'd have to go again because I'm slower than the likes of Sainz, Stroll. We've got the two Mercedes who are out on medium tyres initially, so they'll be going for it now on the softs. Was looking pretty close then after the first sector, so I was just hoping I could keep the lap going and improve a bit later on, but then in Spoon we just make a bit of a mistake there. I didn't take the best line, and then I lost the rear end as well on the exit, so this lap's going to be ruined unfortunately. But Kinsley was slipping down the order then, down to 9th and now 10th, but we're actually the last cars to cross the line, so we are thankfully going to be alright with that one then, and we do get through in 10th place then, Leclerc just ahead of us in 9th. But the big shock there is that Verstappen only 13th in the Red Bull. That is a big surprise there. Albon comfortably through, but Verstappen then just not getting in a quick time, and he is out in Q2. That's a big surprise. For us though, we're finally back in the top 10, and yeah, it's good to be back. We haven't, I don't think, been in Q3 since the British Grand Prix, and obviously it's good for us to get back up here now then. Obviously, as I said, this is a track that I do enjoy, so I was really hoping that this would be the one where we could get ourselves back into the top 10 qualifying. I used an old set here because obviously I only have the one fresh set now, which is the freebie that you get for Q3, so that's what I'm out on now then. At the end of the session I was just using an old set from Q1 for that first run, which only put us in 9th place. Now then, yeah, obviously now we're on a fresh set and we're starting to gain a lot more time now then, and that first sector then has really made a big difference, and obviously with those S's there, so we're getting quite a lot with the fresh tyres there, so hopefully we can move up the field a bit here with our lap time. As it gets later on the lap then we've been bumped down to 10th, but we're still on for a decent improvement here, so we should hopefully move ourselves up the grid a bit. Then made a bit of a mistake there into the final chicane, had a bit of a lock up, didn't take the best line, but we're still looking pretty good to improve our lap time then to the line, and we do improve to 9th, but that is far from the story here. Alexander Albon is on pole position, and it's Sergio Perez alongside him in 2nd place there, so what a crazy front row that is. The two Mercedes only 3rd and 6th then, championship leader Hamilton in 3rd, and wow, what a qualifying. Unsurprisingly, Albon has beaten us once again then in the rivalry, but how about that then? His teammate 13th, and he's gone and taken pole position here. So that is a really crazy qualifying session. We've gained some acclaim there, a whisker away from level 10. But wow, what a qualifying session. And now we've got a full wet race to come as well. A mixed up grid, torrential rain. This could be a crazy one. We'll now head then into the Japanese Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? We're southwest of the city of Nagoya today at a wet and windy Suzuka circuit. 3.6 miles and 18 corners make up a lap here, with Sector 1 likely to prove especially difficult in these conditions. We should see overtaking into turns 1 and 16 today, and maybe a few Kobayashi-style dives into the hairpin as well. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? They need 8th or better to ensure they stay in contention for the championship. Anything outside that and their fate is no longer in their hands.
The key now will be to keep in the right mindset. We've seen time and again that things go wrong if you just try and do the minimum. Not necessarily because of the pressure, but because it's different to your usual approach. They'll need to avoid that and stay focused today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Alexander Albon will lead us away from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Leclerc, Stroll, the scientist, Ocon, and Daniel Kvyat, Norris, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, and Grosjean, Sainz, Russell, Kevin Magnussen, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Unsurprisingly then, we are starting on the wet tyres, and the team are projecting there'll be a one stop then, pitting at half distance and then going over to another set. It does say that the rain is going to lighten up a bit, so I'd imagine we could well be going over to Inters at some point then, as we are going to take quite a bit of fuel out of the car then, because we're probably not going to need that much then in these conditions. But yeah, we've already gained up one place then because Carlos Sainz has that grid penalty. But yeah, as you can see then, the conditions are looking very similar to Monza then. Torrential rain here, but we'll see then how much it lines up over the course of the race, and if we will be moving over to intermediates at some point. Hopefully the team don't mess things up this time with the strategy, because yeah, that was pretty bad for us in Monza a couple of races ago. But yeah, Albon on pole then, Perez in second. This could be a crazy race then. We could well see a brand new winner as we line up now then on the grid, and the lights are coming on now. And away we go in Suzuka, and I'd say it's a pretty decent launch compared to how we got away the last time it was wet conditions in Monza, but just don't really have anywhere to go with it. And then into turn one, I was quite cautious, didn't want to ruin this race on the first corner, because I think there's potential for a lot of fireworks in this race, and I certainly don't want to throw away any kind of chance of a decent result in the first corner there. And most people seem to also have that mentality then, because it seems to be very single file at the moment then. Everyone just taking it easy, not taking too many risks. Albon of course on pole position, he's not going to want to throw that away, and he's obviously leading it well a very cautious pack here then through his first sector. But yeah, we've not moved them from where we started then. We're still in 8th position, and we'll just have to see if we can stick this pack in front of us then. As we see a replay then of the start, Albon there leading away then from his first pole position. I mean, what conditions to be taking that in then. as into first corner. Then everyone very, very tight then, considering the conditions. We were a little bit out of shape there, but maintained our position there. We see then on board from the championship leader Lewis Hamilton, as he had a pretty good start here. Then Perez, a decent start, but then got boxed in a bit. Albon went over to the right hand side. That gave Hamilton a nice little gap there on the left. And yeah, it was a bit of a risk there to sweep around outside of Sergio Perez. The racing point could have easily understeered into him in these conditions, but yeah, a very good start there from Hamilton. Moved himself up into second position. We see then from Verstappen all the way back down in, I think, 12th position, and well, it wasn't a good start for him because he got passed by Danny Kvyat there. So yeah, he ended up going backwards from where he started. You'd think he'd be charging through a field today, but not the best start there from Verstappen. And it almost got worse from him as well, because here came Carlos Sainz as well then, having a look as well, trying to make up for that grid penalty. But yeah, Verstappen then, the person who usually excels in these conditions, did not have the best start there, and only just about managed to avoid losing another place right off the start. As we rejoin the action now then on lap 2, I was using quite a lot of overtake here because you can save so much ERS in these conditions around this track, and the problem was I was just sort of catching up to Stroll at the worst moment there, right as we went through 130R, so it was quite hard to get a good run on him there and then actually get a move done on the brakes into the final chicane. So I was having to try and time it just right here then, and we did have another good boost and of overtake onto the pit straight here, and we're right in the slipstream. But of course now the problem is that it's the worst engine versus the best engine, and well, unsurprisingly then the best engine wins out there, then Stroll maintains his place in for the time being. But we're really putting the pressure on him at the moment, and I want to get past him quite quickly because Charles has already pulled out a 2.5 second gap over us, so we really need to clear Stroll here because he's certainly slowing us down quite a lot. But we're going to have to try and go for a bit of I guess an unorthodox overtake here then, because well, we just can't do it on straight line speed. We're going to have to try and be clever here then, or at least use our car's advantages here in our favour, I guess, as we're right on the tail of Stroll then again in towards turn 1. And just through turn 2 we've got so much speed, so I'm just going to try and run it right around the outside here then. We do get a good drive on the exit here. We're going to give it a boost of overtake then towards turn 3 up the inside, and we're up that into 7th position. Bit of a risky overtake there, but we managed to get it done, and now we've got some nice clear air to catch up back up to our teammate. As it's very good driving as well from Stroll there to see that one come in and managed to avoid a collision as well there, because we certainly did go for a bit of an ambitious move. But it was just what I was saying, you know, we had to use, I guess, the car's advantages there, and that's what we did then. We're passing in probably one of the most tight and twisty sections on the track there, but we got it done, and we're up into 7th position now. And we started to reel our teammate back in now then. Obviously it's taken a few laps because yeah, we did drop back quite a bit then when we were stuck behind the racing point. But yeah, we were certainly bringing the gap back down then. It's now only a 1.5 seconds between us and our teammate, and we set the fastest lap there, so we certainly have some good pace here in these wet conditions, and we should hopefully be able to catch up to this little group in front of us then before too long. And yet we're now right on the back of our teammate once again, and well, we can see them from the map, and also we're going to see in a second here that this little group here then goes all the way up to the podium battle then. Sergio Perez in 3rd, not with the best pace at the moment, so maybe just the racing points aren't doing too well in these conditions. But yeah, we've got a bit of a 5-way fight then for a podium position here, sort of starting to shape up a bit. Bottas still stuck in this train as well, so yeah, he's right in it as well. As we skip then to the end of the lap, we see Ricciardo coming in there then for a stop, and then we see that also Perez, Hamilton and Albon have all come in, so Bottas is into the lead, and now it's now a Ferrari 2-3, so they've actually all gone to Inters there, so surely we're going to be getting a call quite soon, but it certainly hasn't come yet. They better not do what they did in Monza and bring us in on the same lap here. But well, at the moment then we're looking pretty good then, 2nd and 3rd, but the rain is certainly starting to ease up a bit. The track looks a bit better, there's not so much standing water, so you think Inters are the tyres to be on at the moment. And well, Bottas is in, Leclerc's in, the team haven't said anything to us though, so we're carrying on going here. We're into the lead of this race, but we're probably not on the right tyres now. Some cars do actually follow us though. Stroll's up to 2nd, Ocon's up to 3rd, Gasly's coming through there, up into 4th, so's Sainz in 5th, so some cars are following us here. But I don't know, this looks like Inters now. We finally now get a call right at the end of this lap to come in. I mean, it's 2 laps since, you know, Hamilton, Albon, Perez all came in, as we see there Giovinazzi's out of the race. A safety car here would be really good. I mean, I'm sure if this was real life, it definitely would be, but it doesn't look like there is going to be one then. We come in now for our pit stop, and, well, how much time are we going to have lost here? Because the Inters are definitely the tyres to be on, and we lose even more time there because Stroll and Ocon are coming in as well. Perez sets the fastest lap, and the cars are just whizzing past then as we've still got half the pit lane to go. Leclerc's through, he's gone as well. Oh, the team have done it again. They've put us on the wrong strategy, it looks like. They do at least tell us that we're going to the end here then, so there's not going to be any kind of shenanigans like there was back in the Netherlands, or Italy at least. But we're 6.5 seconds behind Leclerc. We were right on the tail of him, and we've lost all that time now. We're going to have to just sort of drive the life out of these tyres, really, if we're going to have any chance of catching back up to that little group there. And, well, we were certainly driving angry at this point then, because we got the gap down. Well, we're bringing it down by almost a second a lap there then. Over the next couple of laps, we've set 2 purple sectors so far, and we set another one there to set the fastest lap of the race. So we really just had the red mist here, and we were bringing that gap right down. But up at the front though, Alex Albon's still leading the way, but not with the best pace at the moment, and he's got a bit of a train for him now. Hamilton's been tailing him all race, but now Perez has caught up, as is Bottas, and even Ricciardo's only a couple of seconds back as well. So this pack is going very slow at the moment, and you know, this is why I want to try and catch up as well, because they're going so slowly that we could easily catch them if we keep on going at this pace. We could set another fast lap, and now I think Jeff's now telling us to calm down a bit, but we do have the gap down to only 3 seconds, so we really are starting to reel these guys back in, and they're really not all that far up the road if you look at the track map. So, you know, we're still in with a chance. In fact, we see Ricciardo, Hamilton, Albon and Perez, they're all in the pits again. They've pitted again. Bottas retakes the lead. We're second and third once again, and well, we heard our engineer say we've got no more pit stops, so they've all just come in again, and we're now almost a pit stop ahead of them. So that's worked out for us. Then we're on the podium here. We're second and third, the team. Leclerc's in, and Bottas is in as well. We're going to take the lead here, and we're going to double check the strategy. We're not pitting again. We're in the lead here with 8 laps to go, and all the cars in front of us have just pitted, and they're well back now. We're only 8 laps away now from potentially winning this race. And not just that, Stroll and Ocon, they did the same strategy as us, remember. They're now on the podium. So this race has turned completely on its head, and we're now only 8 laps away from winning this race, would you believe? After we thought the team had absolutely screwed us over once again, they've actually played an absolute masterclass here potentially, because our tyres still don't look too bad. We should be able to take these to the end. Anyway, looking back then, we see Bottas here coming out of the pits, and side by side with Hamilton in fact, so it's just all kicking off here. And I mean, come on Valtteri, you're fighting for a championship here, aren't you? You just let him through. But I don't know what he was doing there, but nonetheless they've both passed Albon, so his first pole has really just gone down the drain there then. But for us, wow, we're leading this race then. We're 9 seconds clear of Stroll. They're now holding up the Team Mercedes. They're stopping them from catching us up. We've got this in the bag if we can just keep it going. And, well, how about that then? I mean, we really thought the team had screwed us over there, but, well, they've actually pulled an absolute blinder out the bag there then. And, well, the rain does actually stop, so, we just need to hope now that it doesn't dry up too quickly and no one tries to gamble on the slick tyres here, but that is not the case. With only a lap to go now, the track is still looking pretty damp. These Inters are going to last one more lap here, and we are just now only a few miles away from Ferrari's first win of the season, right near the end of the season, and the first win of our F1 career. And yeah, this really just came out of nowhere then. All the cars in front of us then pitted too early. In fact, we thought they'd timed it just right, but they pitted too early. They had to pit again for another fresh set. Whilst we stayed out, we took a bit of pain, but we managed to take these tyres then through to the end of the race. And now with only a few corners to go here, we are going to taste the champagne then on the top step of the podium for the first time in our F1 career here then. Just a couple of corners now then to go, and then it's to drive to the line. We round this final corner now then, and we are going to win the Japanese Grand Prix.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
That's it then for another fantastic Grand Prix here in Japan. A brilliant victory that has thoroughly earned the applause from the sellout crowd here today. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, when you overtake that many people, I'd certainly hope you'd win the race. Their car was really effective in the slipstream here today, and the team will be pleased that they didn't cook the engine, given how long they were spending in the hot air behind other cars. They had a lot of confidence to push their tyres hard as well, especially going into the corners, which allowed for some late braking and some exciting passes.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
On the weekend, where Ferrari now officially have the worst engine in F1, they go and take their first win of the season then. And, well, we were the one to bring it home then with that first place then. And, well, it was an unlikely win for us, but it was an even more unlikely podium, right, I guess, for Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon there in second and third. Then there's the team Mercedes then in fourth and fifth. Hamilton is going to build up his championship lead by another point thanks to Bottas, clawing one back then with the fastest lap. Albon, his first pole, but only sixth in the end. Perez seventh. Gasly seventh. Perez eighth. Sainz then, with that grid drop, he recovered to ninth. Ricciardo with the final point, and Charles Leclerc didn't even score points in the end. And Max Verstappen, normally one of the best drivers in the wet, dropped 2 places from his starting position of 12th place. So that is an unbelievable result there. Then all down the field, just unbelievable results happening. Giovinazzi then was the only retirement in this race then. So yeah, most cars then managing to make it to the end despite the difficult conditions here. But in the Drivers' Championship then, Hamilton is getting very close to wrapping up that championship now. He could do it at the next race. He's 32 points clear of Valtteri Bottas. We leapfrog Alexander Albon then, and we're only 15 points off Verstappen as well. We could still finish third in the Drivers' Championship, would you believe, after that result today then. Leclerc then is sixth and quite a way off us now. So we may well have this wrapped up now then, at least in the inter-team battle. Perez then is seventh. Stroll actually demotes Ocon then out of the top 10, despite them both finishing on the podium today. And Gasly is going to repass his teammate there, Danny Kvyat, in their little battle that they've had going on all season there. And in the Constructors, I think I forgot to mention it in the last episode, I can't remember if I did, but Mercedes did wrap up the Constructors title. The battle for second may not yet be over then with that race win. We're only 40 points behind. I mean, it is a quite big margin still to recover, and we're going to need some more good fortune, I think, to do it, but it could happen. Racing Point then are looking quite good for fourth now then, whilst McLaren are not looking like they have a chance of recovering that now.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they? You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? Appreciate your time.
For a second race running then, we managed to recover some points over Alexander Albon then. We actually got the maximum of 5 points there, so that was good for us. It's still looking like he's probably going to take this one, but still, we managed to, we're at least managing to make it respectable there. We also managed to rise up to level 10 there with our driver acclaim, so that's good. So overall it's been just a fantastic weekend for us then in the end. We finally managed to regain some qualifying form, and then yeah, the team played an absolute blinder with the strategy, and we are now a Formula 1 race winner. So hopefully then this can really push the team forward now then and give us a boost going into these final 3 races, because yeah, our engine certainly isn't going to be giving us that. But yep, as I said, only 3 more races to go, and then we can finally start upgrading it and start recovering some ground. But yeah, really hope you enjoy this one, and I hope to see you next time then for the United States Grand Prix.